Hello, 5th grade. Today in art class, we are starting the first step to making an optical illusion bubble collage. We are only going to do the painting part today. Next time you have art, we will put everything together. At the end of showing you the painting part, I will show you what the final result will look like. Optical illusion is a form of abstract art that gives the illusion of movement by the precise use of pattern and color. So we're going to use the color as part of our optical illusion, and we're going to be doing watercolor painting for that part. So I'm going to just go over a little bit on how we're going to do the watercolor today. You might have already used watercolor. I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have used watercolors before, but I just want to go over a few things first. You're going to make sure that you always keep your brush nice and wet. I tell the little kids, give your brush a drink, because if it's too dry, then you're going to have a lot of problems getting your paint to blend. And today, that's what we want to have. We want to have lots of blending. So you're going to just get your paper wet. This is called wet on wet technique. There's so many different ways to watercolor paint. You're going to make sure that you get a section of your paper nice and wet. Don't get it so that the water is just pouring off of it, but you want to get it nice and saturated. Then when you decide what color to use, I would like you to stay away from black and brown today. So you need to think about a color scheme. So red, orange, and yellow, those go very well together. Green, blue, and even purple can go together. Yellow, green, and blue work nicely together. So you need red, blue, and purple work nicely together. You need to think of a color scheme, because in the end, this is going to be the paper we use to make bubbles from. Whatever color you choose to begin with, you're just going to gently rub your brush in your paint. You do not need to dig your brush into your paint. If your paint is too dry, that means your brush is too dry and you need to get more water on it. Once you get your paint, if your paper has enough water on it, it'll start to blend and pull the paint as you put it on. Whenever you need to get a new color, you do need to wash your brush out. I'm going to try some blue with my red. The point of this paper is to blend your colors. So you don't want to make it so that it looks like stripes of color. You don't want to have it so that you can definitely see where one color stops and another one starts. You want to get this blending, and the way to do that is to have your paper wet enough while you start. Before you start, I mean. So once you stick to a color scheme, I'm doing a blue, red, and purple color scheme. Stick to that color scheme for the whole piece of paper. Your papers are going to be pretty saturated, pretty wet. So putting them on the drying rack, you're going to have to really take your time to get them on the drying rack without making any papers rip and without making them drip all over the place. I'm trying to go back over top of where I went before, trying to blend my colors in. If you end up getting too much water on your paper and it's just making a puddle, you can get a paper towel or a Kleenex and use that to dab at your paper to soak up any extra water that you might have. Your whole entire paper needs to be painted. You're going to do this 2 times. Before you start painting, please remember to put your name on the back of your paper using a pencil. because it'll be very hard to remember whose paper is whose, especially when we're just painting the paper and getting our color on it. You can experiment with how dark you make certain spots. Some spots can be a little darker, some spots can be a little lighter. You don't want to have a clear spot of striped work. You don't want to have stripes of whatever color you're making. You want it to kind of be like a gradient where it kind of flows into one color and another. So after you get your paper completely filled, you're going to put it on the drying rack, and then you're going to get a second piece and then make another one, because next time when we have art together, you are going to use this painted paper to cut out circles that you are going to then glue onto another piece of paper. And I have the example here. I just kind of went a little bit of a shortcut, and I'm going to have you cut them out, and you're going to put them on your another piece of paper, and then we're going to add some optical illusion lines to make it look like it has some movement. And we will add some reflection in our bubbles, but this will be the final look of your paper when you are finally done with the whole project. Today, you're just painting 2 pieces of paper so that you have a nice background. Well, that gave some nice texture to my paper. So I hope that next time we have art together, I will be back in school, and I can't wait to see what kinds of paper you come up with, what kind of color schemes you figure out to use, and we will work together next time to make our final pieces. I hope to see you soon. Bye.